Obisa, fellow Euphoria, and welcome to my channel. I'll be your bartender for today, and I'll be making a cocktail slash mocktail for our favorite, super amazing, talented artist from outer space, Airani Iofifteen. Yes. As I said before, Area 15 has recently celebrated their anniversary earlier this month, so this is the second creation that I'll be making in celebration of the fact. So, happy anniversary, guys. I hope your days are filled with happiness and joy. Cheers to you, Iofi. So, I know I've said this about several Holo members already, but Iofi is a bit of a special VTuber to me because I actually got the chance to meet her. Yeah, so back in the Crunchyroll Expo of 2022, the very last Crunchyroll Expo to ever exist, I had won the lottery and got the chance to meet and talk to Iofi for just a moment, and man, she was an absolute delight. I showed up in a Yago cosplay, of all things, and she got an absolute kick out of that. And yeah, it was such a joy talking to her. I'll admit that at the time I was not like a really well-informed Euphoria member. My goal was just to watch many different HoloLive streams, a little bit of everything, just to get a breath of what's going on in all of HoloLive. But because of that, I didn't know the deep lore behind Iofi and stuff and what goes on in the chat. But I did try and spend some of my time to watch more of her streams. Get to know her a bit better, get to know the ins and outs of the chat, maybe pick up some memes and inside jokes, just to have a few topics of conversation with her, because man, I was kind of nervous at the moment. But despite all that, despite me not really knowing, I guess, a lot of good topics to talk to her about, Iofi was such a good conversation leader, and she knew how to get things moving. There was never a moment of dead air. She always had something to talk about, and it was super enjoyable. It was really nice just to follow her lead. And I told her that one of my most favorite streams of hers is the Eel Salon, where she takes a few Holo members, shaves them bald, and gives them entirely brand new hairstyles, and they're absolutely amazing, by the way. In fact, I'm still anticipating the moment when Yago steps up to his appointment at Eel Salon. I hope that we can see that someday. But yeah, it was such a great time talking to her. I'm so glad that I got the chance to actually meet and speak to a HoloLive member and see what they were like outside of stream. I'm just one guy. Iofi probably doesn't remember me, and in all reality, it was just a small moment in time. But I think that's one of the moments that I'll really remember fondly for a long, long time. Anyways, that's enough of me bragging about getting the chance to meet Iofi. Let's talk about today's cocktail, mocktail, and the ingredients. As we all know, Iofi is an incredible artist. She's very talented, and her model is that of a painter who has a lot of colors and paints splashed all over her model. And I think that's one of the coolest things about her design. Because of that, I want to get a bit artsy with this creation, and I want to make something that would allow me to utilize many different colors and have them all visible in the cocktail. But what kind of drink would allow me to utilize all these different colors and have them be visible? The answer is Jello Shots. You can make them easily in many different varieties, flavors, shapes. You can get really creative with them. And instead of gelatin, I'm going to be using Agar Agar, because this is a sort of traditional Southeast Asian dessert. I grew up with this in my childhood, and I think Indonesia has their own version of this, which is pretty cool. This is also very easy to make, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. It's Jello. So Iofi, being a member of HoloID, I think she also doesn't really drink alcohol. So yeah. For this creation, we're going to need the base ingredients of water, sugar, coconut milk, and Agar Agar. I've heard that different brands of Agar Agar might have varying strengths, so you might have to do a bit of testing on your own if you want to try and follow along. But yeah, that's the base ingredients needed to make the jelly. If if you want to make it alcoholic, you just need to sub out a portion of the water with neutral spirit. So I recommend vodka, that works the best, but anything you have on hand should be fine. And now for the flavorings and the colorings, I'm going to be using a variety of different syrups. I've got my blue curacao here, and my red grenadine, and I have here homemade matcha syrup. I'll leave the recipe down below, but you want to make it the very strong matcha flavor because it's going to get diluted with the jelly mixture, so you want to make it extra potent. But feel free to use any type of syrup that you have on hand. Maybe you have mango, orange, even maple syrup or something. I'm sure it'll all work just as well. Now, let's make a cocktail. Only one problem, I've kind of already made it. You see, with Jello Shots, most of the prep work and the mixing and whatnot is done in the kitchen. You have to mix all the ingredients, let it bloom, heat it up to boiling, let it set, let it harden, and then prep it in all sorts of ways. And that's all done in the kitchen. And I don't have a setup that allows me to film myself comfortably over there to really show all the steps that I'm going through. So unfortunately, it's all done. I'll leave a list of directions that I've just followed to make the recipe as usual. I'll try and make it as clear as possible so you can try and follow it along if you are interested. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, and maybe I'll even leave some reference videos of similar recipes that you might find helpful to follow along through there. But without further ado, let's show the results. And there you have it. I present to you a painter's palette. This creation is meant to capture all the different colors and paints that you'd find on a painter's palette. I tried to make the colors a bit more pastel to match Iofi's color scheme, but we have this pale green here, which is the matcha syrup, as I mentioned before. This pastel blue, which is from the blue curacao. I think that turned out the best. And we have the white here, which is just plain coconut milk with a bit of vanilla in for added flavoring. And this pinkish looking thing here is from the grenadine. I had hoped that it would turn it out a bit more pastel pink, but unfortunately the grenadine didn't want to cooperate that well. To be honest, this is actually more like plan C of the iterations of cocktails I was making for Iofi. I had originally envisioned something a bit more grandiose, a bit more beautiful presentation wise. I wanted to make something like actual jelly cake with all the decorations and stuff to really capture Iofi's artistic talent. But alas, I didn't have the skill to pull it off. But maybe in the future, I'll come back and revisit this one, give it another go so I can really capture that vision that I had. But that's just for a future project. But I think overall this is still a decent way to capture the vibe I was going for. Plus this is a bit more traditional in the types of desserts that I grew up eating. So I hope this creation managed to capture just a fraction of Iofi's artistic talent, and if she ever sees this, I hope it makes her kind of happy, a little bit happy. Now let's taste. So, like I said, I've made both cocktail/mocktail versions of this. The top two are the non-alcoholic versions, and the bottom two are alcoholic. I've subbed half of the water with vodka, so it's sort of less than 20% ABV, which is around the ballpark of a normal Jello shot. So let's taste. So the blue curacao flavor is actually orange flavored, even though it's blue. So curacao is a type of orange, and when you eat this, you do get that subtle taste of orange. I added a bit of orange blossom water to it to give it more orange aroma, but it tastes really good. A bit sweet, kind of fruity, kind of like an orange creamsicle with that coconut milk. Let's try the matcha. So the matcha is probably my favorite. I really like matcha. You want to use a high-grade matcha, as high quality as you care to get. probably ceremonial grade or something like that. It really comes through in the Jello. Even though I only use like a little bit of the matcha syrup in, proportion to the Jello liquid, the matcha flavor really comes through, and it's pretty good. Now let's try one of the alcoholic ones. Let's try the coconut. Okay, so the alcohol is quite apparent, as with most Jello shots. You really taste it, but the coconut does come through a little bit. There's not that much coconut milk in here in proportion to all the other ingredients, but you do get a little bit of nuttiness, that toasted warm creaminess, and a bit of the vanilla really helps bring that out. I'm wondering if you use coconut rum instead of tequila or vodka, then you might get an even more pronounced coconut flavor. Let's try some of the grenadine. Okay, so with the grenadine, since this is a fruit-based syrup, it's pomegranate flavored. This one's homemade, so it's got extra fruit flavor to it. You can actually, this is the most fruity tasting dessert of all four of these. You really get that sourness, the acidity, and the fruity sweetness from it, which helps to actually counteract the ethanol effect you get from the alcohol. So I think this one works the best as an alcoholic Jello shot. So this one, you probably want to give it a try if you actually want to make it the alcoholic version. But all in all, this is a very interesting way to serve a cocktail, I would say. So yeah, I recommend you to give it a shot for your next party if you want to make like a big batch of this Agar Agar Jello shot or whatever. You can use whatever flavors you want. You can cut it in all different shapes and sizes. You can get really creative with this. So I think this is a really interesting project for you to try if you're interested. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please leave your well wishes for Area 15 in the comments down below. If you have an idea for an alien-themed cocktail, please let me know. Happy anniversary, Iofi! I can't wait to see your EO salon with Yago, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers, and thank you.